Well, I want to talk to you today, and this is, I'm not very often I do a more than one message, but so I'm not going to be in a hurry today, and I'm not going to keep you forever. I'm going to tell you ahead of time, this is going to be a series. That may be 2 messages or 3 messages or whatever. But I finally, Pastor, I love to preach about the Eagles, and I always have. And I think it's, the simple things that the Lord wants us, He makes things simple. We make things complicated. God is not very complicated. He makes things simple. He tells you to consider the sparrow. Consider the lily. Consider the ant. And then He promised us something. He said that we could mount up with wings as an eagle. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to grow feathers and sometime I wave my arm around enough, I should be able to fly, I guess, but that's not what it means. But there is a analogy there. How many know that mount up, it's the same word as used for mounting up on a horse. Just recently we had a horse here, and the kids enjoyed the horse, and they was riding all around, and the power once you mount up, the power to get going is not on you, it's on the horse. And the Lord wants us to mount up as well. And I just want to give you a couple little analogy here. He wants us to mount up, but we mount up on wings of faith. And it's the wind and those little turbulence that carry the eagle. But in the book of Acts, they heard the sound as of a rushing, mighty wind. And what they do, they mounted up. Now, some places the word is used wind, and some places used spirit. Is that correct, Pastor? The same word. So I pray that the wind of the Holy Spirit will blow through this place today, and we will. And I like what George, you had a perfect setup for this message coming up right here, because he is, by his own words, a baby Christian. His walk with the Lord is brand new, and he's learning. He said the Lord is showing him. Well, there's some folks that needs to be, and some of us have been shown, and we're still not doing. So if we got a picture that I saw about the eagle that I thought was so phenomenal. Isn't that beautiful? Carla blessed me with that picture right there, and man, that's the most majestic bird, and the eagle is a part of our history, whether you know it or not. I mean, they've always, this is a majestic. It shows the power, it shows the majesty, it shows the beauty of the Lord. You can see God in seeing the eagle. And let me tell you something about those turbulent. And Pastor flies, or he used to, he had his own plane, and you've actually set it to controls. Is that correct? I've sat over by the controls. I've flown a little bit. Bill Hilders used to let me fly some with him. But they tell me, and I've heard it confirmed again, that what takes that eagle so high is not his strength. Remember, the strength is what the Lord provides. The soaring is what the eagle does. They have found eagles as they've been spotted at 30,000 feet. Eagles have been spotted that high. So they got to be, it's a God thing. But I'll take you through a little bit of the story about the eagle, and then we'll come back and bring it over into where it fits us. When eagles begin, we'll start off with young eagles after they've already grown. They come off of the nest at about a year old, and then for about 2 or 3 years they hunt, and they learn to take care of themselves. And the Lord put some sort of timer down inside them that one day they look around and they notice another eagle that is just amazing. And that eagle is of a different sex than they are. I don't know what the liberal folks think about that. They never notice an eagle of the same sex that they are. But they're just enthroned by the beauty. And I heard one preacher put it like this, said, so the eagle sticks his chest out. I stick my belly out. He sticks his chest out and struts around a little bit, trying to show off, trying to get her attention. Y'all remember when you did that? Richard, don't drop your head. Do you remember when you did that? But then when he finally gets her attention, and she was looking at him the whole time too, why, there's a little contest that starts. And this is really important. I tell it because this is important. God has trained this eagle to know what to do. So this female eagle takes off, and she will fly high in the air, and she does all kinds of loops and turns and dives, and he had better not get left behind. If she loses him, she really loses him, because he's a loser. But that goes on sometimes for days, and then when she's satisfied that he can make all the dives and the turns and fly as high and dive as fast as she thinks that she needs, it moves on to another level, and she begins to pick up sticks, small sticks, and goes high in the air, and then she'll drop the stick. Well, being the gentleman that he is, he naturally wants to pick the stick up and carry it back to her. But when he carries it back to her, that's a little illustration that I found on that. That's the mating process. Hold that just for a minute there, Kathy. And when he gets that to her, she is not interested in that stick anymore. Can y'all relate to that? You know, when you think you got the perfect gift, that's not what she wanted. But she picks up another stick, a little bit bigger stick, and doesn't fly quite as high, and drops that stick. He catches it, takes it back to her. She's not interested in that stick. She gets another stick. And so pretty soon she gets to where it's almost a log that she carries, and she can only get about 500 feet or 800 feet high, and she drops that, and he has to dive to the ground, and he better catch it. And he catches that thing before it hits the ground, and that satisfies her. When that satisfies her, what Kathy is playing, show that. I want y'all to see that they mate in there once, but he had to go through some stuff to see if it was enough. And then that mating process that she had going on right there, they lock talons in the air, and you can't fly with your talons locked. They're flipping, and they're turning, and they're flipping, and they're turning, and they're falling. But what they have just, when they lock that hands, they're saying, "You the right one, baby." And 48 years ago, she was the right one. And 48 years from right now, she'll still be the right one. Look at them. And they're heading for destruction, it would seem. But at the last second, they pull out. And then they go back up and do that again and go to a higher place. And after about the third time, the mating process takes place in the air. But the job's not over. And I wish America would, once you get a bride and once she becomes pregnant, that's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of the story. They too work together and they build a nest. And so both of them working together, but they don't build their nest just any place. They build their nest preferably on a rock. At one of the highest points in their region is where they build the nest. And here's the thing, it takes a lot of twigs. Their nest will weigh between 1 and 2 tons for these. And it's made strong enough, and I won't tell where it is, but Chick knows where it is. There's an eagle's nest that's built on a power line. And Richard's a builder, and I doubt if you don't use string, I doubt that you can go out there and weave those things around where they'll stay there in the wind. I'm going to say I can't. I'm not going to say Richard can't. I couldn't put those sticks together where they would stay put. Another thing, I watched on the internet, watched an eagle building this, and I watched this one female eagle, probably 15 minutes trying to place one stick to get it how she wanted it. But they wrapped it around those steel things and built a nest. And that nest is so strong that when the storm comes, and that little eaglet's in the nest, now ordinarily when the storm comes, if they don't have little eaglets, That's a glorious thing about an eagle. From up on that perch, at the highest point where they are, they can see for miles. And when the storm begins coming, every other creature is scurrying around trying to place to hide. Not the eagles. If there's no little ones in the nest, what they do is they mount up. And the same turbulence that's going to tear up Jack on the ground is going to lift them up above. There's some storms. If we become like eagles, that we can see some storms coming, and the thing the devil meant to destroy us with, as George said, the Lord will use that to bless us with. There's what that beautiful creature looked at a while ago. There's what they look like when they start off. Some of y'all hadn't fully matured yet, but someday hang in there. You may be a duckling, an ugly duckling now, but if they go on, they grow in to that beautiful, majestic bird. Thank you, Kathy, for the help. Well, so anyways, after they get this nest built, and they start off with these great big logs, and they weave it all together, and they make sure that it's strong enough to stand whatever, because they don't do it like we do it, Pastor. How many houses you had in your time? 27. See, 26. See, an eagle has one house for his whole time. They build that one house, and they stay there the whole time. So when he gets that house, and they get it strong enough, then they begin to line it with furs of the things that they kill. It could be deer, it could be fox, it could be mink. Because there's a preparation taking place. They're making preparation for the blessing the Lord is sending. Sometimes blessing comes and we hadn't made proper preparations for the blessing the Lord wants to send. But anyways, when the female eagle lays those eggs, the job gets a little harder for Daddy Eagle, because now he's feeding for himself, hunting for himself, and he's hunting for her, and so she gets breakfast in bed. But after some period of time, they only lay, and I say this every time, they only lay 1 or 2 eggs, at the most 3. So, there's another family that's very close to this group that's similar in a lot of ways, except they build their nest on the ground. And they fly pretty high in the air, but they eat dead stuff. They're called a buzzard. But the eagles went through a lot of work, a lot of preparation, and when these little ones come out, then the male and female hunt. Kathy, can you show that picture of the mother feeding that little eaglet? I mean, how do they know all this stuff? Because God is in charge, and the mother has to chew this meat up a little bit, and the daddy as well. They'll tear up a piece of meat, and they'll put that meat, and it blesses me just to watch them do it. Alan and I was watching the video yesterday. These eagles some places they use them to hunt wolves. And they turn this, here this big old ferocious wolf is on the run trying to get away. And when that eagle sweeps down there, he takes him on, and you can watch it on the internet yourself, and you see he wins. Because he's a fierce hunter. But anyways, they chew that food up enough to soften it up enough, and here's where we're switching over now. We're going to get away from the eagle here for a minute. When that happens, see, she's putting that in that little eaglets, and all they have to do when they first are hatched out is all they have to do is sit there in the nest, fat, dumb, and happy. Let me give you a parallel to that. When you first get saved in the church, the Lord brings such joy in your life. Could you all tell there's some joy in this man's life when he got up there today? And the Lord puts you in a safe place, where you can be protected and ministered to, and people come alongside and be your friend and love on you, like these two guys right here laid their head on a chopping block to get George a job. He's down at Malibu. We're going to start calling. What direction are we from Wartburg? South? You know? Oh, that'll work. Tom, what direction are we from Wartburg? South? Well, for now, for purpose of this illustration, we are south. So we may quit calling that Malibu and call it Morgan County South. Because Bulldog's coming pretty quickly, and we believe in the Lord that He's going to give favor there as well, because these guys are going to do an above and beyond. But anyways, when you get saved, it's the Lord's plan for you to be able to be ministered to. And Pastor, how many times you saw somebody, especially it seemed like the ones that was really, really wicked. They come in, they sit down, and they just like a little bird, just feed me, feed me, feed me, and there's such joy. You know, the ones that's been sitting around for a long time, you know, they sometimes don't seem like they don't receive, but the ones that have just been brought out of darkness, the one that's just come from the pit, the one that still remember what it's like to have the chokehold on you. You know, those ones, bless God, they sit in the church and they get ministered to, and they get ministered to, and they get ministered to, and the Lord protects them for a while. Do y'all remember the honeymoon when you first got saved and how the Lord looked after you? Well, those little eaglets get that joy for a while, but pretty soon, the feathers begin to grow, and they begin to look more like their parents. But I want to say this, the power to produce is in the seed. So the day that he pecked his way out of that egg, he already had destiny on his life. Eddie, I'm going to use you for an illustration. If you don't like it, we'll take it up after church. Destiny was down inside that little eaglet the whole time, but he enjoyed almost a year of just sitting there, warm, comfortable. When a storm come, Mama would batten down, dig into that 1-ton or 2-ton nest, and the storm come and it blew and shook. They didn't know it because they was sheltered under her pinions. Oh, that does mention that. How many know the Lord said that He would cover us under His pinions? When the storm, His feathers, so there they sat. And that went on, and they was fed, and they was ministered to, but then one day, the Lord, Mama Eagle knows what they need. Now, most of us like to stay fat, dumb, and happy. That's not very nice to say that as a pastor. Most of us like to stay fat, dumb, and happy. and because she begins to pull out the fur, she begins to strip the lining because she suddenly hates them. No, because she loves them. And this is where parents mess up. We want to keep them happy. And God's got a plan for their life that we may have to make them a little unhappy sometime for them to reach their potential. And Pastor, in the church, sometimes we allow people to sit around, and you didn't, not just me, allows people to sit around too long, and we know God's got a plan for their life, but they're comfortable. And you're afraid if you get them uncomfortable, you know. But anyways, she'll start off by, and every time when they light off, the eagles already got them feathers. They already got something down inside them called destiny that they know that they should be able to fly. But when the comfort leaves, and when I left Pastor Statham, my best friend and my mentor, I don't reckon we still ain't never had a hard word I know of. If we did, tell me about it, because I missed it. But you get feel like you're sitting on the pricks, that nice, comfortable place. And I remember when I left, I said, Pastor, the eagle's nest is being stirred. He said, where are you going? I said, I don't know. I just knew I was supposed to go. Well, when they quit sitting there all the time, these talons that they got, when he attacks that wolf, Richard, that thing comes swooping down there about 200 miles an hour, and he grabs him by the throat or by the back of the head. But they latch on. And Pastor, I thought, a wolf? An eagle attacking a wolf? I'm a full-grown wolf. And one time I saw that wolf rolled him over, and boy, he was tearing him up. You know what happened? Here come another eagle. Let me just throw this in right here. The Bible says one can put 1,000 to flight, and two can put 10,000 to flight. Lord God, what should we be able to do if we just combine forces here? And so when Paul was in jail, I missed that before. You know, when Paul was in jail, it wasn't just Paul in jail. Paul and Silas was in jail, and the Lord shook the place because two eagles was in the place. But when they begin to get up off of their backside and begin to stand up on those talons, they start to get the strength that they're going to need. And I don't know how long that goes on, but it's already where they can't be comfortable sitting down. But if that's still not enough, eventually Mama Eagle comes, and she starts really tearing up Jack. And she's fluttering. You know, the Bible says that the eagle stirreth up its nest. So stirreth up the nest to make sure that there's no place for you to sit in comfort. And the whole time, she's trying to push him over toward the edge. And then sometimes, they tell me that they'll actually take the leap by themselves. But almost never do they make it. But when they jump and they go tumbling down, just before destruction comes, remember the training Daddy got? He swings right under him, picks him back up, and carries him back up to the nest. They said the average time that it takes for an eagle to get where he can return back up, it's not over. That just means we're going again tomorrow, or we're going again in a little while. It takes 6 or 7 times. But after that each time, maybe they learn a little more about what this thing is out here on their side. But by about the 7th time, it works. And they light out, and they're evicted. They no longer are eating at Mama's house. Glory to God. They got to learn to hunt and make it on their own. Let me tell you where our nest is. How many would agree that when you got saved, the Lord put you in a comfortable place, and He fed you the Word, and He taught you, and you know that destiny is down inside you? 3 of y'all. So, but after a period of time, the Lord will do the same thing to you. He'll cause you'll see a need. And let me tell you something else. The thing that irritates you the most is the need you've been called to minister to. If you're so unhappy about something, that's probably your fixing that you need the Lord wanting you to do something about that. But what keeps that little eagle from lighting out over there to start with is fear. The same thing keeps us from stepping out. Alan, how hard was it to step up and preach when the Lord started? I mean, you started. You never told me this, devil. After all you've done. I mean, man, you've been in prison. You got tattoos. God can't. Hey, I'm not sure Jesus don't have tattoos. Something about King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So for all you that are worried about that, but anyways, he started telling you all the reason you can't do it. So fear of criticism, fear of failure. But nobody thinks it's strange when the eagle don't make it on his first flight. Eddie here, got saved and got under a good teacher, got fed in a warm place, got called to preach, got set forth. But when he stepped out to do it, he had a crash. You never told me. I didn't ask you. But he sat in prison up there all that time until my last service there. I said, "You're preaching." He said, "I didn't prepare nothing." I said, "This wasn't a request." you know, it's down inside you. But I know the devil's been telling you, you done messed up. Those little eaglets it takes them 6 or 7 times when they get out of the nest for them to be able to fly. Let me tell you something. In the church, we need to understand that there's greatness down inside those people there, and we need to have enough mercy that if somebody finally steps out of the nest and tries to fly, that we are not the one that criticizes them and causes them to not get up again. There's no shame in what you did. The shame is if you come to the place where you think you can't go on. The Lord has done dusted you up. You may not have felt like it, but He did sweep through and pick you up just in time and set your feet back on a solid place. And the best is yet to come. Well, that's one place. And so the church, now the church should be your rock, should be your nest. It should be. It should be the solid place that you can run to. But you shouldn't always stay at that nest. There should be a time, and I don't mean leave the church, I just mean get out of the comfortable place and take a chance on, even though it looked like it's so far down, take a chance understanding that the Lord will not allow you to hit ruin. He will pick you up. Well, and as I said before, and here again, I just feel like that I've missed the whole point of the eagle. I've been always enthroned with his beauty and his majesty and his power. But when you think about and see in the light of us, and the Lord said, well, I should read a scripture. I always turned to Isaiah. I'm going to give you several scriptures here in closing. Is that okay? Before you go to Isaiah, go to 2 Corinthians 13, verse 5. 2 Corinthians 13:5. It says, examine yourself whether you be in faith. Prove your own self. Know ye not your own self, how that Jesus Christ is in you, even ye be reprobates. But he says, prove. You got to know. Now we're going to like this into faith, and eventually we're going to see ourselves that the Lord wants to lift up us on wings of faith. And it's not too tough. I want to show you the simplicity of God's Word. In Psalm 119, verse 130, Psalm 119, just watch it on the screen. Psalms 119 and verse 130 said, the entrance of thy word giveth light, and giveth understanding to the simple. We make God's Word too complicated. It's simple. And then in Romans 10 and verse 17, it says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing, and I might say, and hearing, and hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. But after a while, when you've heard, and you heard, and you heard, and you heard, it's time to use some of that faith and light out on wings and soar to another level. Well, anyways, let's keep on coming down here. In Romans 1 and verse 20, says, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even the eternal power of the Godhead, so that you are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. So the Lord wants to keep it simple. But this is in Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 30. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. It doesn't say that's if you're covenant or not covenant. The young men, you're going to be weary. Everybody, if you're young or you're old, there's going to be a time when you grow weary. That's verse 30. But verse 31 applies to covenant people. And look at the covenant God gave with us. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagle. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So there's a time, and I believe it is high time, for us to get out of our nest. And let me tell you, the sad thing would be to die in the nest. Potential. Who was it, Pastor, that said the graveyard is the richest place there is on the earth? Called out that graveyard, all those dreams and all those inventions and all those giftings and all those talents that never got out of the nest, they went to the graveyard. Let's don't die in the grave. And the Lord wants to challenge each of us. And there's so many things. It doesn't have to be. And let me just strictly say this. It may not be preached. Dear Lord, there's a lot of preachers. And there's almost every time when somebody thinks that God's going to use them, they always associate with preaching or pulpit ministry. You know, there's 10 million things the Lord has need of, and it don't always have to be. But the thing about it is there's a gifting and a talent and an anointing that's down in your life that He has put there, and He will not let you crash if you can. How many can trust Him? You know, if He calls you to do it, and it does look scary. I mean, you know, Keith, you know, when we was looking down that little valley that we was riding across in that thing that Christian got us into, that's a low spot compared to where the eagles light out from. So it may be a little scary, but don't die in the nest. Allow the Lord, and over these next few weeks, we're going to find out how to listen for the wind. You know, sometimes, let me tell you another danger. That sometimes you understand there's a season, there's a timing. And you know, Pastor, I bet he could preach another great message on the timing of God. Along with the call of God, along with the calling of God, along with the blessing and what He means for you to do, there's a timing of God. And sometimes the Lord can deal with you. I mean, just as I gave that illustration about the guy who's going to go out and witness. We're eagles. We're not turkeys. You don't just jump up. You need to seek the Lord about the timing of God as well. So that when you get up to head out, you're on His exact time schedule, so that the door, you know, when He sends the heat down to send the rays up to lift the eagle up, He'll do the same thing for everything that we need to do.